As a business owner, especially, you will find that you're often met with uncertainty. There's always uncertainty in the world, but as a business owner, it seems to be even impacting people even more. That's when you need to depend on your body more for sustained energy, for mental focus. You may know that I crashed with my health back in the entertainment industry when I was doing shows on cruise ships and television. I was flying to cruise ships to do my shows. On average, I would fly 250 flights a year. So think about that. That's a lot. That's 7, 8 flights a week. It was cray cray. It drove me crazy. I didn't get enough sleep, more flights, different time zones, shows at night, up early, onto the next ship, onto the next flight. And so I created, because it was me who did it, it wasn't something I got. I created a condition in my system called adrenal fatigue and hormone imbalances. Young guy, all of a sudden, my hormones tanked, adrenal fatigue. I was so stressed out, cortisol levels through the roof. It was really bad. And that sent me out on a trajectory to figure out what the heck was going on with me, because I had doctors telling me, you'll have these hormone issues for the rest of your life. Here's synthetic testosterone, here's synthetic this, synthetic that. You have to inject yourself. That's just how it is. And my intuition told me that's not how it is. There's something I knew intuitively, that the power that created my body definitely could heal it if I gave it the right conditions to heal in. And so I did a lot of research for a number of years, and I still do. I'm very passionate about this topic as a result, but it brought me back to health, and it brought me back to not being dependent on medication. I was measured recently, and my physiological age is 43, but my biological age is 35. So biologically, I'm actually equivalent to a 35-year-old, even though my physical age is 43. So you'll find that the more you work on biohacking, detoxing, and all the things we're going to get into today, I'm going to share 5 things that I believe any person should integrate in their life, business owner or not, but especially if you are a business owner, you definitely need to, because then you depend on your body even more for mental clarity, focus, energy, etc. So I was extremely sick. I remember waking up one day in the middle of this mess, and I still pushed myself to go to work. And go to work for me meant getting up early in the morning, driving to the airport, checking in, flying somewhere, doing a show the same night, 3 shows the same night, being done at 2 a.m. in the morning, getting up again at 5, 6 in the morning, flying somewhere, flying back or somewhere else. I remember getting to the airport one of those mornings, and the check-in lady asked, "Where are you flying to this morning, Mr. Hansen?" And I said, I have no idea. Just check me in. I didn't know. I was so blank, there was no one home anymore. That's how sick I was. And you don't have to get sick to get better. That's not what I'm saying. But everything can only get better. Better is a great word, like my friend Bob Proctor always said. So regardless of where you are, I promise you, these 5 things that you will receive today will help you. It will help you a lot. Your mental clarity, with feeling better, with sustained energy. The mindset part in all of this is the biggest part. It's the determining factor. Everything else are contributing factors to health and healing and getting into a peak performance. I believe that we all have potential to do this. Our bodies are just an expression of the mind. So how we treat ourselves mentally and how we treat ourselves physically is expressed in the body. And we have been brought up in a health system, which is in many cases a sickness maintenance system where I'm just being frank here, but in my opinion, that's how it is. In Danish, we call it sygehuset. Yeah, congratulations, right? Focus on what we don't want. And on it goes. It's symptom, symptom, symptom. Very rarely do we focus on the main causes behind the expressed effect of what we don't want. And that's what we're doing here. So how can we improve in life as leaders of our own life, our family, leaders of our business, if we don't focus on health? I see so many people trying to create great quantum leap results, financial freedom and all of that, and they're sick. Like I had a client the other day. She signed up for one of our programs. She wanted a quantum leap financial result in her business. But I said, that's not what you need right now. You need to focus on you and your health and your mental balance and your foundation for growth. So think about a tree. Did you know that a tree actually is gravitropic and phototropic at the same time? What does that mean? That means for a tree to grow, it first has to grow down towards the earth, towards the center of the earth. That's why we call it gravitropic. It grows downwards first, creates roots, and then it grows up. Same with us. How can we grow into anything significant if we have unhealthy habits that leads to lack of energy, mental brain fog, fatigue, physical, like, it's just not sustainable. So let's get into it. This is related to health, so always consult with your doctor or healthcare practitioner. So the first thing that I have found helped me tremendously with feeling better and mental focus and an overall feeling of just well-being is cold plunging. It's deliberate cold exposure. It's equivalent to jumping in the ocean in the winter or taking a cold shower, depending on where you live in the world. If you live in the Nordics, that's great. But that actually triggers an endorphin release that is equivalent to taking ecstasy. We don't have to take ecstasy. We can actually just do a cold plunge. And the good thing about it is the mental effects of this stays. It's sustained levels of an endorphin release that happens over 7, 8, 9 hours. So it's not just a spike and then you're back to the same feeling right after. It stays like that. It creates sustained energy and mental focus all throughout the day. And like I said, it just creates an overall sense of well-being. I would recommend, it doesn't have to be cold plunging necessarily, even though health-wise it's very beneficial because it's a vasoconstrictor. So first, all the blood rushes to the organs from the extremities to protect you. It's a sympathetic nervous system goes into effect. And then when you exit from that plunge, all that blood rushes back. So it's a vasodilator afterwards. So vasoconstrictor and vasodilator. It's very, very healthy. It's an exercise for your immune system as well on a daily basis. It kills any headaches. If you have a headache, doing a cold plunge takes it away in 2 minutes. It's the best. In the past, I used to take painkillers for headaches if I had them. I never have them anymore. And if I do an extra cold plunge and headache is gone, because it's a vasoconstrictor and a vasodilator. All right. And so you can do other things. You can find something in your life that you don't necessarily want to do, that your sympathetic nervous system wants you to stop doing. Nothing better than a cold plunge or a cold shower because you don't want to do it. Your mind tries to trick you. And if you get really good at doing what you don't want to do, and you do it over and over and over and over again, guess what? Your body starts trusting you that you are the commanding officer here. You're the captain of the ship. In many people's lives, it's the body that affects the way they think and governs their decisions. Now it's you, and your sympathetic nervous system learns to trust you more and more. Your body starts to trust you more. So choose something you don't want to do and stick with it. Because when you, as a leader, as a business leader, takes that principle and you take it in other areas of your life, success is very simple. It's forming the habits of doing things that losers don't want to do. And I'm not saying losers in life. I'm just people that lose out on life, that lose out on the results they could have chosen or created. Successful people are people who have formed the habit of doing things that losers don't want to do. Most people don't want to get into a cold plunge every day. They don't want to do a cold shower. Why? It's uncomfortable. Of course it's uncomfortable. But when you can do that and you do it over and over and over again, you can transfer the same concept to other areas of life. It becomes easier now to do things you don't want to do necessarily. But you formed the habit of doing them, so success is inevitable. I don't want to do it every day. Every day my mind goes, I don't want to do this. I don't think you should do it today. Why don't you skip? But every day I override that program. And I'm so grateful afterwards when I'm done with it, because I feel so much better. Even the other day, there was a storm coming. I think I put it on Instagram. There's a storm coming, and we had the trees on the balcony. We had to move everything, and I was like, I didn't feel like doing it. It was like water coming in my face, but after going in the plunge, it was like a warm shower. I'm like, this actually works. Good morning from Miami. There's a massive storm right now here on the balcony. The water is coming in like crazy. But you know what? It's not going to stop me from doing my cold plunging. It's probably just going to be just more effective, actually. So here we go. All right, let's move on to number 2. So the number two thing that I have found has tremendous health benefits that will heal you in many ways is fasting. It will boost your mental capacity and sharpness, and it will detox your cells. Now, you actually give your body an opportunity to detox. But if you eat 3 meals a day, we're programmed to eat, and then snacks in between meals, like we're programmed to really pollute this temple that we're living in. And when you look at all the good religious books, fasting is an integral part of awakening, of spiritual awakening. Fasting is a big part of it. And it doesn't mean that you have to go days without food, but it just means that you have to give your body a chance to detox. And most people don't. They fill themselves with carbs all the time, and it turns into sugar in the body, which creates mental fatigue and mental fog and toxins. It's so bad. So if you were to decide to skip breakfast, we breakfast, break fast. That's literally what it means. So you could break fast at lunch, right? So let's say and it's very healthy just at a minimum to fast 16 hours and eat in an 8-hour window. Very, very healthy. And it has a lot of hormonal benefits to it. So for men that are struggling with low testosterone and growth hormones, like now it's an epidemic. It's just an epidemic that no one talks about. Um, you boost your growth hormone by 800% just by fasting once a week over 24 hours. Now, I don't recommend that you swap between fasting and not fasting. Either you do it or you don't do it, but you can change the window. If you're going to do it every day. But I would recommend 16 hours a day and just skip breakfast. Just have, maybe a cup of coffee in the morning, some tea, carbonated water. And I'll give you a tip here in a moment that will help you with that, because I had a hard time fasting in the beginning, very hard time. And there was a reason for it. The key here is to understand that your brain has two fuel sources. You can fuel your brain and your system and your whole body two ways, either with sugar or with ketones. Ketones are created when you fast. It's your brain's preferred fuel source. So if your brain could choose, it would not choose carbohydrates, it would not choose sugar, it would choose ketones. It's your brain's preferred fuel source. So that's now you're aligning the way you eat with the way your brain prefers to be treated. There's things you can do to boost your body's production of ketones. For instance, I love this. It's an oil. It's called MCT oil. It's brain octane MCT oil. It's made with coconut oil, and I put it in my coffee because what that does, it's called MCT, stands for medium chain triglycerides, and it actually penetrates a barrier in your brain and it boosts cognitive function. It boosts your mental sharpness. So not only should you fast, but I believe one of the reasons why most people have a hard time with that is because they eat a lot of carbs when they eat in their eating window. They fill their eating window with carbs. So it's hard for them to fast because you get hungry really quick. You know that. When you go to, let's say, a crappy, like a cancer factory like McDonald's, you go there. Pardon my language. I believe that all these fast food places create a lot of illnesses we don't want. I have seen at the Houston Medical Center here in the United States, one of the biggest medical centers in the world, people fly there from all over the world to get treated. Experts in all these fields. In the hospital, there's a McDonald's. It's so ridiculous and it's so in your face that here we are creating illnesses so that we can go treat them, right? It's cray cray. Anyways, when you go and eat a McDonald's hamburger, you're hungry the next within an hour or two. Why? Because it's empty carbs. There's no fuel there for the body. It's just empty carbs that turns into sugar. And then you load it up with a soda on the side, right? Congratulations. And then we wonder why there's no energy. Because we haven't fed the body any significant energy. And so my point is, when you turn down your carbohydrate intake while fasting, it's a lot easier to fast. You don't get hungry. So amp up your fat, healthy fat, avocado, olive oil, nuts, and all of that. Fish, great, vegetables. Amp that up when you eat. And you'll find when you fast, you don't get hungry. On top of that, when you ingest MCT oil in your coffee, it makes it so much easier. And it creates ketones. and you'll find that your mental sharpness just increase like crazy. When I'm preparing for keynotes or events or things where I really have to be there. Like I really have to be there. I do this religiously. And my record for internalizing information is 7 pages a day if I have to retain a keynote or something significant. If I lived my life on sugar and carbohydrates and all of that, bread, pasta, blah, 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 all of that stuff that our body doesn't know how to really process. Agriculture is a fairly new thing. So rice and wheat and bread and all of that, it's like it's within the last 200-300 years that's been a thing. Our bodies are millions of years old. We haven't learned how to process all that crap, and here we are, morning bread. Yeah, congratulations. Not healthy at all. The third one that I believe we all should have, and especially as leaders of our life and our businesses and whatnot, is access to a functional medicine doctor. That's somebody who has gone from the MD, doctors in medicine, which are not doctors in health, they're doctors in medicine. That's what they are. They like this, and there's a symptom, and we treat it with a chemical, and that's that. And there's another chemical, and then we need to add another chemical on top of it to take out all the side effects from the chemicals, right? It's nuts in some cases. It really is. A functional medicine doctor looks at a more holistic approach. They might have an MD background, which I believe is great, and they understand that world, but they should certainly also understand a holistic approach to health. That means they test for minerals, vitamins, and all of that. There's so much more to it, and hormones, especially. And so when you have access to somebody that can be proactive with you, you start looking in the windshield as opposed to the rear view mirror. Most people, when it comes to their health, they react when the health isn't where they want it to be. Then they go to the doctor, right? And you could have been proactive about something for a long time that would have prevented all this stuff. For me, I have a functional medicine doctor. I have a hormone specialist. I have people that I see, that I take advice from. But I have also invested in something here it's called Viome. I don't know if you can see that. You see, it's supplements. They're made for me. They are made specifically for me. And so they test your blood, they test your saliva, and they test what comes out in the back. And they look at all your vitamins, your hormones, your mineral levels, and they put together vitamins and minerals based on what you actually need. Most people go to the supplement store and they buy fish oil and they buy vitamin D and they buy all these things that they think they need. But who knows? It's just a guessing game, right? Let's make sure we actually know what we need before we just jump into. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of those doctors in Europe, and more of them, thank goodness, that have a more holistic approach to it. And it's a long-term thing. You can't just go there once, right? Like you got to go there often. I'm getting tested every 3 months to make sure that I'm in peak performance, that my body is doing, that I'm treating it the right way. And actually, we have some news coming on that front, with more proactive health, which is something we're going to be releasing hopefully later this year with 2 of my new business partners. And it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. And it's going to be proactive health. And now I'm so grateful for it. In fact, they're going to be here in Miami this week, and we're going to mastermind on it. I'm very, very excited about that. And we've been working behind the scenes on this for a long time. And it's not either or, right? Your doctor is your doctor, and they will probably give you some recommendations, which is usually based on medicine. The average American doctor, or the doctors coming out of medical school here, have 2 hours of nutritional training, and that's about it. I remember one time when I had my hormone issues, I asked my medical doctor, so what can I do to change my diet to help this? And he goes, I don't know. I can refer you to a nutritionalist. He had no clue. Here he is. He'd been gone to school for like, I don't know how many years. No clue when it came to everything that we put in our bodies. Crazy, isn't it? People go to the doctor when they're sick. Why not go to somebody that can advise us longer term so that we don't get sick in the first place? I see that as a more wiser and viable option. The fourth thing here, when it comes to being proactive about your health, is of course daily exercise. And it's based on your body type and your goals. of course, but I love calisthenics. It's where you use your body weight, your own body weight, to exercise. I find that it fits perfectly into a productive day where I'm usually very productive, and I don't want to have to go to the gym. We have a gym in the building, but it just becomes a project. You go there and it just becomes an hour easy, hour and a half out of my day. And I love my 20-25 minute calisthenic sessions. All I need is a yoga mat, and I use an app called Better Me. It has programs tailored to your body height, your weight, and all of that, and your goals. It's good because it strengthens the entire muscle groups in a functional way. So it's not just isolated muscle movement with weights and machines. That's actually very unhealthy in the long term. It can really affect your joints and your ligaments just using isolated machines and hand weights. What's really good about the compounding exercises and calisthenics is that you're using multiple muscle groups at the same time. It strengthens the whole body, strengthens your core. uh, it strengthens your body at the core. That's why it's really, really good. And another thing too about calisthenics, when you're using the bigger muscle groups like that, it triggers healthy hormone releases as well. Daily exercise, it could be a walk as well. It doesn't have to be heavy lifting and things like that, but you have to move the body. The body's built for movement, and we're not built to sit still like 8-9 hours out of the day. That's why I have an elevation desk. I stand and I sit and I do walks in the middle of the day. I move a lot because we have a great participant, and she's done a lot of research around that, and it actually has detrimental effects on the brain if you're sitting still too much. There's research now that shows more and more that that's a contributing factor to illnesses like Alzheimer's and all sorts of things. If you're still the majority of the day, you want to move. The body and the brain is built for movement. We shouldn't dare sit down too long at a time. And now that we talk about that, I think I'm going to stand up. So the fifth, it's interesting and it's gross and it's really good at the same time. Are you ready for it? Some people are like, "Oh, that's gross." Well, yeah, it is, but it's even worse if it's in your body. And so what I'm talking about is detoxing, because the fact is that we ingest a lot of chemicals from food, heavy metals. We Many people use all these perfumes, endocrine disruptors. Like, your endocrine system of hormones is such an intricate system of checks and balances. And all these chemicals, perfumes, cleaning supplies, many of them are what can be categorized as endocrine disruptors. They actually disrupt the endocrine system. And um, you look at, again, like something, again, for the guys out there, hormone levels in men have plummeted 50% in the last 50 years. And a lot of that can be attributed to chemicals and eating habits and all of that. So what I do a lot is detoxing. I would go to India to do Ayurvedic medicine. That's mental and physical detox, where you just flush your whole system through, basically. And there's a lot you can do at home as well to help you in detoxing. It just takes a little bit of awareness on this area to really understand how beneficial it will be for you. One of the first books I read on this topic is by Dr. Doc Kaufman. It's this one here, The Fungus Link. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. The Fungus Link, Dr. Doc Kaufman. And we have a lot of crap in our stomachs, in our intestines. The more carbohydrates that you eat, the more inflammation you most likely will have in your stomach. And yes, the more fungus and the more parasites you will have, most likely. And parasites are these little worms. It's gross, it's disgusting. Yeah, it is. But it's even more disgusting that they're inside of us instead of outside of us, right? So there's a lot of things you can do. When you read this book, you can do a whole month of eating in a specific way where you cut out all carbs. Is it hard? Yes, it's hard. I did that many, many times. The first time I did it, I had crazy headaches. I couldn't function for like 4 or 5 days. I was detoxing so much from all this crap. And it's where you do a whole month of no coffee, not even decaf, no carbs, no sugar. And I guarantee you, after that month, you'll feel like a totally new person. Again, the body's not built to ingest all these high amount of carbs and sugar and all of this stuff. There's other things you can do. You can do, like right now, I'm doing a heavy metal detox by this company. It's a heavy metal detox, and what I've done in over many rounds is it's this. It's called Paragard. There, Paragard. It's drops, and it will help clear out the stomach of parasites. And like I said, you just have to try it, and you'll find that you'll look at your body in a totally different way than you did before, because your body is a host of a lot of parasites and bacteria that it doesn't necessarily should be in the body. And so, at the minimum, try to do a month of low carbs just to see what happens. Find some resources that you resonate with, but I would recommend this book, The Fungus Link. It will give you insight into why we have allergies, arthritis, digestion issues with the stomach, mental health, and women's health and pain. The more if there's a gut brain stomach connection here, and the more you heal your stomach, the better you'll feel. Many mental imbalances stems from the stomach. It's because people just fill themselves with crap and they keep doing it. And then they hope that a little run or a little walk will do the trick. And they're filled with all this stuff. Like, no bueno. We're programmed to eat 3 times a day plus snacks. We're programmed to eat all the bread and all the pasta and all the rice and all the crap they put in front of us. And we're programmed to not fast, to not treat our bodies the way they're meant to be treated. And then we wonder why we don't have energy, why our mental sharpness isn't there, why it's so hard to break out of that brain fog. Well, it's not complicated. You just have to instill some discipline and get curious. If you just took away all the sugar, all the rice, pasta, bread, coffee, decaf, because there's a lot of fungus in the coffee beans, If you take away all of that in a month, I guarantee you, your mental and physical performance will be second to none. You're going to ask yourself, where have I been for so long? That's what you're going to ask yourself. That's a beautiful question. The first 2-3 days, I'm telling you, you're gonna feel like crap. You're gonna feel like giving up. You're gonna feel like, I don't want to do this. When I've had it, just take the days out of the calendar. Don't do anything. I was so sick I couldn't even get off the couch. That's how sick I was, because my body was detoxing from all this crap, literally. So the extra bonus that I promised today is some insights on the mental priming routine. So I would recommend that you do a daily walk in the morning where you repeat your goal statement, your affirmations, your gratitude, incantations. I have a whole morning process routine that I'm going to link to a little later here when we're done. But when you prime yourself mentally, it will become a lot easier to execute on all these things. So you're going to tell yourself how committed you are, how disciplined you are, how focused you are, how much you honor your health and your wealth and your well-being, because health is wealth. When you are as healthy as you can be, you are in a top performing mode. You can be more for other people. You have more energy for your business, for your life, for your team, for your clients, for your family. Walking is very healthy for the cardiovascular system. When you look at the blue zones in the world where people live to over 100, they have one thing in common. They walk a lot. And Italy, there's a lot of hills in the blue zone in Italy, and in Greece, a lot of hills, and people walk up to the churches and back. That's one other thing that they had in common, is they're very they adhere to a religious or spiritual community, and all the walking back and forth up and down those hills just naturally very, very healthy for them. Running in the long run just is hard on your joints and your knees and everything else. If you are more interested in diving into how I personally built my morning routine and how I structure it and how I execute on it, just click the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have linked to a couple more right here that I think you would like. Now, until next time, it's not who you are that holds you back, it's all the illusions of who you think you're not. This is Anders Hansen. Thank you.